Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Schifrin, and I call the meeting to order of a joint, I guess I'll call both the joint meeting of the Select Board and the Finance Committee on February 10th at 5 p.m. Oh, there she is. Okay. Roll call with virtual first, please.
Veronica Cal, remote.
Valerie Goodrich, present.
And Laura Schifrin, present. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all of our veterans, as well as our current military serving here and abroad, our first responders, all of them, and our elected and appointed officials, our staff, and all of their families for helping our community function. Chairman's additions or deletions. Oh, excuse me. 1.3. Announced meeting is being recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Is anyone else recording?
Yep.
Thank you. 1.4 additions or deletions. I am deleting 5.5, which is the warrant that we approved at yesterday's meeting. 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes for January 20th, 2026 and February 3rd, 2026. Is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the meeting minutes of January 20th, 2026 and February 3rd, 2026.
Is there a second? You're on mute.
Thank you. Veronica Cal, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much. Let's see, the next is 6 p.m. and 3. Okay, 3.1. Do you want to do this one now?
Yeah.
Or do you want to wait until joint meeting, or we can do it now?
I think you can appoint him now. It's just an appointment standard for a select board, a FinCom representative to the audit committee.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to appoint Donald Hayes as the Finance Committee representative to the Audit Committee effective February 10th, 2026 until December 31st, 2026.
Is there a second?
Veronica Cal, second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call. Vote. Veronica
Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. And thank you again to Don. Under new business, 4.1, review, discuss annual town report submissions.
Yeah, Veronica has shared a list of departments that had shared their town reports.
I mean Sabrina?
Sabrina, sorry.
Okay.
Had shared that report in terms of who had sent in the different look backs on each of the departments. We're still short a good amount.
Yeah.
I will reach out to the department heads tomorrow for a gentle reminder, and it'll also come up at our next department head meeting if we're still waiting on some. I have to draft a copy for the select board and town administrators, I think, as well. So I'm also on that list as a guilty party.
What have you been doing?
And he's telling the truth. He's on the list.
I'm on the list.
Kieran, could you tell me if the Housing Trust has provided anything?
The Townsend Affordable Housing Trust has not provided anything.
Okay, no. So maybe that's something we want to add to our Thursday meeting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that meeting has been posted, but maybe that's an unanticipated item that the chair can say we'll work on and have ready for the next meeting.
Okay.
We recommend that everyone who's having meetings coming up in February, that they get that done, because there are other people on here who will be meeting this month and they have not turned in their reports yet. Okay? Thank you for all that have been so prompt. There's no motion here at this
No
point.
motion, no, not necessary. So
Okay.
you could say that you could start to begin the ones that have been submitted, or do you want to wait till we have all of them to move forward?
I think I wouldn't start tonight.
Okay.
I mean, what could happen is we could out of session and then accept or approve whatever when we meet next time. I think, because there's 50% of them have been sent in.
Yeah. And
So
there's
that
some
would
legwork. Yeah.
that would take up some time. So if we could read those out of session and report back, would that work, Veronica?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So 4.2, discuss change of RAO appointment. Is there a motion?
No, well, I was going to actually ask to have this moved to the next meeting if possible. The reason being, we received a letter back this fall from the town clerk with some questions and a request for a meeting to meet with a member of the select board, the TA, town council, and himself for some questions about the RAO assignment and the public records policy. And that request was resubmitted again now that Kieran's here. And I think it might behoove us to have that conversation before we discuss this matter.
Kieran,
And Kieran can comment on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to chat with the town clerk's office and hear where they're coming from. You know, there is a workload associated with being the RAO. You know, I understand the process and how critical it is to making sure records are available. So, you know, I of course would defer to having a conversation with somebody before making any declaration, if you will.
Okay.
But I'm working for you guys, so you can tell me if you want to make that change now, or have myself in a lead.
With some
Yeah.
town council input, legal input, anyway.
Yeah, and you know, Adam has some availability on Friday, so hopefully we can align that with the town clerk schedule to, you know, get it resolved. And if we were to have a meeting the following week, I know some folks are Zoom, some folks are present, then maybe I can report back. And if there's a select board member that joins us, they can also sort of share what they learned in that meeting.
If I may suggest that Val be the one, since you are now liaison with town clerk on the new list that we're approving.
And I think this is important before special town meeting. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Veronica?
I'm okay with that. Yep. Yes.
Next meeting? Okay. All right.
And that would also apply to the 5 points. Which one is it, Karen? 5 points.
The public records policy.
5.3.
Yep.
5.3. So it applies to that. I'm sorry.
Is that okay with you? Because that's a public record policy. It was a first reading. So that would be deferred to 223?
I'm okay with that. Sure.
Okay. All right. Then I'll entertain a motion to, I don't need a motion to just move it.
Yeah, no motion.
Okay, so 4.2 and 5.3 is moved to February 23rd meeting. Okay.
If I can.
4.3.
So we're having a meeting on Monday, the 23rd, or did you mean February 24th, that Tuesday?
I don't know why I said the 23rd.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. That's it.
Okay, no, our next meeting is the 24th,
Currently scheduled the 24th. Correct.
and the annual is the 25th at the high school.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, all right. Correction, February 24th. Tuesday. And so now we are at 4.3. Kieran?
Yeah, so this was,
A letter for 10 North Middlesex?
yeah, I drafted that letter and sent it out to everyone. I don't really have a hard percentage. We received some guidance last night from the school committee. I don't know if a letter is really necessary at this point in terms of where we are in our process and what our budget really looks like. I may say let's hold off because they had their hearing. I think the school was coming in, maybe you probably wrote this number down and I was listening and trying to come up with questions.
A minute, let me just pull it up. It is 2.63, and then the debt was 13.82. Is that our Townsend's, but that is not approved by the school committee. That's a proposal from the superintendent.
Right. So we don't really have a firm number from them, I would say. So I don't know if a letter is necessary at this point. So it might be a take no action or move to an early March select board meeting.
When did they say they were voting? Is it March 10th? Was that the date they said last night?
Yeah, March 10th.
Then I think it's either right before or right after that, because we don't know what their budget is. We just know proposed.
Correct.
So which do you prefer, February 24th or
Do you want me to keep,
March 3rd?
I'm in, the school committee members kind of update me sometimes, so I can get back to you at our next meeting, because I don't think they're probably going to have more information on the 23rd.
Yeah, and really the action item for us is they've made a vote, they've declared it, and this is what they're asking of the assessment of the town, and then we're able to react and determine really the language of our letter from that point. So we're really holding until we know precisely, they're, $1 is what they're looking for.
I do think we have a number at least we can put in, at least to run our draft.
Well, and I was really appreciative of them allowing me to remind them of the Prop 2.5 levy limit, because it's kind of where I deflect to more often than not. And they were gracious in terms of them letting me remind them of that last night.
So could I put this on 224 as old business?
I think so.
And we either use it or not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Veronica?
All right with me?
4.3 to 224. It'll be under old business, the discussion. Should we need it? We'll just have a placeholder for it if we need it. So 4.4.
I'm going to ask Jane, our labor counsel, to write that memorandum of understanding. I just haven't had a chance to. This past week, I let the highway superintendent know it's coming. It's in the mix. It's being worked on, and he was appreciative. So.
Okay, so are we moving now?
Yeah, it'll be enough. We're moving musical chairs with some of these. So.
Okay. 4.5.
Is that going on the 24th then? Is that where that's going? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
Just moved it to that. The next is approve select board meeting dates. I have gotten as far as, I'm okay with all the dates. I've gotten through maybe April 14th at this point. I would say to keep this ongoing, and if something has to change at the next meeting, or does anybody have any date they can't make?
I just want clarification. Are all these dates meeting dates?
Yes, it says out of cycle meeting dates are the
red ones.
Yeah, and I will tell you that I cannot be here on March 31st. It's an ALS event for my son, so I'll be in Colorado.
So we're not doing next week.
That it's not on here. 217.
217 is on here as a red date. I'm not.
No, it's not on here as a red date.
I have it.
Oh, I have it as a red date on my list.
I printed this out of SharePoint last night, and 217 is not on it. Take a look in SharePoint, please.
I'm good with 217 not being here.
That's fine.
Do you need us for 217?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Well,
but
good luck.
I like that.
Let us know. Let us know.
Anything else?
As the ship sails down the river.
I can't even be virtual on the 31st. Okay.
Veronica, it is red on the SharePoint that I'm currently looking at. I think Val's in that file. So maybe Sabrina had updated it. So apologies.
Okay. I printed these after the school committee meeting last night to bring with me. So
Gotta check that color ink cartridge.
do I put it back in or not?
I've crossed mine out.
I like that mentality. So I think
right.
we're going to give everyone a week off next week. So
Excellent.
And then on the 24th, we can look at this again, okay? I just know that what I can tell you for the 31st is absolute. Okay. 4 points. Where are we? We're at 4.6?
4.6.
Oh, yay. Now, did you get a PDF from Veronica? Did you get a PDF from Harrison or Jack?
No, it's in my email, but I looked at it right before the meeting. So no, I have not had time to review it. Came in too late. Sorry.
Well, unfortunately, I forgot that you said last night that you were only going to be virtual today. So that's why you got it late. But we actually had books for everybody here to review.
When?
That's right.
No, they're here now.
They were assembled today. So you had departed.
Fancy book.
That's fine.
I was hoping to be able to review with you just what the changes are in the book and to show you that this is a book that everybody's going to get when they're onboarded or sworn in, okay?
You can go over the changes. I'm okay with that, but I reserve the right to, when I see the book or can review that, to change things. So I don't want to vote tonight, is what I'm saying.
You can review it. Let me review it.
Okay. Well, if I could review it and then perhaps when you read it, it'll be clear. So on the volunteer response form, we actually just made a change to add. This has already been approved by us on November 13th.
Right.
But change now is to see current vacancies on, because the whole list is here and some of them may change or they may be filled positions, we've added the instruction to see the current vacancies on all boards and committees, go to the Townsend Posting Board at Town Hall or the Volunteer Opportunities page on the Town of Townsend website. And there's 3 links here that they can use. Okay, so this is the volunteer form. That's the only change made since the approval by the board, which I think is a good add-on. Okay, it's just informational. The next thing that's in the pocket, and why the pocket is here, is because all of these forms are signed. This actually is in here, not here. Or yes, it is this form. This form, acknowledgement of receipt of town handbook and open meeting law materials by members and staff of public bodies. These are all the forms and policies that are in the handbook itself. So it's a list versus a signature page for each one, which is what was done before. They have one sheet, they get all the papers on the same day when they're sworn in. The thing that we added, I did, less afterthought, was to put, have an ethics question, call State Ethics Commission advisory line and the number to call for free legal advice regarding ethics law. I think this is important because not every staff person or not every, and Kieran's going to be going over this at a department head meeting, tells people when they should be disclosing or recusing themselves, or at least call the ethics line to say, this is the situation. I know, because it was never told to me, except my first planning board meeting. And I had no idea what it meant because there was no, in that particular situation, I had no there was no monetary value to me in what was there. I only knew about it from like 2 or 3 years before that date. So I think, and so the person who was in charge of that time, the staff person, told me, I think you should be recusing yourself. That's fine. Okay. And I did. But that's not happening. And we have situations where people now are being told at the last minute, then they rush to call ethics or they rush to go and do the disclosure, but the town clerk's office may not be open. So this is, I think, a good add-on stamp. It draws attention to them that they should be doing this, or at least they will ask the question. And also what we added to this list is I acknowledge that the contents of this guide book may change and that I am responsible for ensuring that I stay up to date with all relevant laws, regulations, and policies that apply. That was something else that we added to this. I feel now very comfortable with somebody coming in, getting this book, and signing this. So that's those two. Then the next form that they have to sign, which may not be, actually it's not to the town clerk's liking because it doesn't say signature here where they actually sign. But this is the Inspector General's or the Attorney General's, one of them. This is their state form and this is the form that the town clerk has to use.
The Attorney General's form.
Attorney General's form, okay. And so the volunteer consent and release form was actually a form that was approved by town council in 2022.
Can I ask a question? The Attorney General's form for what?
The open meeting law materials.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Every volunteer and staff person, I guess, has to sign one. And it is required by the Attorney General's office.
It's at the back of the open meeting law handbook now.
Correct.
It is.
It didn't used to be until about 3 years ago. Prior to that, just signing in that you got the materials from the town clerk was what indicated that.
Yeah. So now it's actually in the front of the book, and it has to be signed for the day that they're sworn in, and they are actually asked, do you want a copy of the papers you're signing? Because some people do and some people don't, but they do ask the question, so they know what they have signed for. Okay, so then the next one was the volunteer consent and release form, which was done by Adam in 2022.
I'm not sure if I've ever signed it.
Oh,
I'm
maybe
gonna have
no,
to check.
I know what you.
I haven't,
Okay, oh God. So,
nor would I, for what it's worth, so. That's not a good form.
yeah, but it's a good form for the town.
But not good for the staff or the volunteer.
But this is what town council has approved
In 2022.
in 2022.
The labor laws have shifted since then.
You couldn't say something before? Okay. Well,
I mean, this is wonderful work. I think we almost need a Cliff Notes version. So as a volunteer, you know what you're signing. And as a department head, like, this is a lot of, it's almost like you're filling out an insurance form to be a volunteer here.
well, that's how you're treated as a volunteer,
Right.
like you're being paid.
Yeah, and you're
And
not.
so you can be criticized to the hilt.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you have an emergency information page that asks what your blood type is.
Really?
Oh, God help me. Well, that's for an emergency. Like, you're bleeding out.
I know why.
I mean, that's the first thing that an EMT person would think of. What's their blood type?
But would they ask you what your religious preference is?
No, only when you go to the hospital.
Correct.
Well, is that for EM?
I heard bleeding out even first aid kitchen.
No, only if we know our blood type.
That's right.
Oh, okay, so I must be hearing that.
No, I'm trying to make light of it, but I'm just like,
Okay.
You can keep going.
Well, okay. Are you making notes of what you're not approving?
yeah.
We're good with the volunteer
If you want me
form.
to.
We are good with the, list of documents. We should be. We have no choice with the Attorney General.
Correct.
So you're saying that the volunteer consent and release form, which we should have Callie look at them, and the emergency form should be revisited. Are you good with that? Two forms that need signatures have to be revisited. And that's the volunteer consent and release form from Adam in 2022 and the emergency,
I am good with that, but I would really like to sit down with this paper copy. I just checked my email. It isn't in my email. So I haven't seen this. And so to verbally do this,
All right.
I'm not going to vote on accepting
Okay.
anything or doing anything like that until I actually get to see it.
Okay.
Do you want to throw that maybe on the 3-3 meeting agenda for approval? It gives it a little time to have Veronica review, and maybe I'm very incorrect on the necessity of some of the emergency information, but
I would like Callie to look at both of those forms.
I don't think I did get the volunteer handbook, and I don't think I ever provided that information to the town. So
perhaps it's more focused on staff there, but it was just a part of the mix in terms of papers to have reviewed. So.
Okay. All right.
So
So,
close.
yet so far away. And I know that saying very well. And then this, if you go to the next one, which is the welcome, okay, I'm only doing what changed, okay? The front page changed and just say at the bottom, contents subject to change, and it has a place for revisions on the change log. We have our welcome letter from Callie, which she updated. And we have the list here that is the contents of the book and also notes if they want to put it down. So then you go to the committee handbook itself. Again, which is the one that they use now. We didn't change anything in the book itself. Everything that is up front is what was changed. Then the policies have a different tab. And then helpful open meeting law resources. This was supposed to come up front. Okay, has the templates that we approved, which are the agenda minutes template, has some Robert's Rules of Order guide and standard language for motions. Is only included here. The board did not approve those because of changes in the laws. And the only reason why it's here, and I kind of agree with this, is so that they get to see some of these languages before. We also have, well, that's the Robert's Rules part, actually. The other part is executive session motions are only samples. So they have at least seen a few before they entered into a meeting with executive session. Does not mean that these are not going to change. Just like the Attorney General's report may change when the next Attorney General comes in, which is what happened the last time, yet it took 3 years. But it did change with the last Attorney General. And you'll see June 2025, that probably won't change again. And then after that, it's the Inspector General's conflict of interest comes after that, and then the inspector general laws. Those we did not change, but the helpful open meeting law resources did change. So I think I thought my last conversation was that section was going to be the first section, so that they saw those changes first. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I will go
Bravo.
I will go over this
Again.
with the town clerk's office again. But I think we're close.
Yes.
I really think we're close to a fantastic handbook.
Right.
Okay, no motion. Thank you very much.
Ripping right through.
Okay, next. This is the result, 4.7. This is on me. And why am I at 4.7? Volunteer Board Coordination Committee update.
So we just
I
went
did
through
that.
that. Yep, just did that. Now 4.7 is that ad hoc committee.
Yeah, but where's the liaison list?
That would be
Why
an
did I
old
Old
business.
business.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay.
It's 5.2.
Okay, but I'll go to 4.7. Last week there was a zoning board meeting that I attended, and that was 4.7, and that is in your. I emailed that to you. I don't know if it's in your SharePoint because I don't put it.
He's on SharePoint.
Okay.
Both.
So, and out of that meeting came the need for a new bylaw, addressing housing and economic growth. More so because of a mixed-use property on Main Street, but also could be for many things on Main Street or maybe in other areas. But we've already done a lot of work through a GLTA regarding the MBTA mandatory bylaw. And having done that, there were some really good people besides MRPC that we worked with, and that was our building inspector and Rick Metcalf in the Board of Health. And so this is something that I feel, and they felt, and I think planning feels too, because I mentioned it at planning, that this could help our growth, both economic and residential housing growth, because if commercial vacancies become vacant and they stay vacant, there's no income to the investor. And when that happens, they can actually file for hardship to the town on the assessments if there's no income drawn from it. Same thing being the opposite. If rentals become vacant in a mixed use, become vacant, they can turn back and they have more commercial users. You have an opportunity to interchange. We need a bylaw for that. My thoughts, well, coming from them was 2 from planning board, 2 from zoning board, 1 from the select board. I have down here the TA as ex officio, depending. I feel what's really important, and it's in your list of the assessor for growth and town properties. I'd like to see at least the chair people of those boards. We want the most knowledgeable people we could get in a room, in a think tank, we called it, to try to come up with a way to do this. Both the building inspector and the Board of Health representative have had various opportunities to do this kind of thing in other towns, and they could be well-versed in helping us out. I also saw that checklist that was sent regarding the housing growth.
The MMA checklist from that.
MMA. And I looked at those slides as well. And I think that the checklist, some of the checklists could be used for that so that everything we get will be helpful. I think there should be somebody from the Housing Authority, somebody from the Housing Trust. And I haven't talked to these people yet, but there are people that would know things about housing. Like on the Housing Authority, you have Jack Moran, who works for the housing in Worcester. So he's familiar with it. And then I said maybe an at-large member, although I'm not sure what we need or who we would do. And then my questions were, can we just appoint if you think this is a good thing? Or do we have to post? And my goal is to have something for the annual meeting, and so would zoning and planning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like long enough. I can't tell you, decades we've talked about economic growth. Decades at the select board meeting, at wherever meeting, we've talked about economic growth. Am I wrong? You guys.
So
I would like to see how this meshes with the master plan and housing production plan. I would like to see something a little more focused on housing. I think that mixed use is pretty, there are probably only certain districts where that bylaw would apply. So I would like to see, this looks like it's intended specifically to create a mixed use bylaw. And I'm assuming that that is only going to be applicable in the commercial districts in town.
Okay, I can't assume that, but I understand relating to the master plan, and I'll get with Beth on that.
And also the housing production plan.
And the housing production plan.
So for me, it's a bigger conversation than just mixed use. This looks very targeted to a specific mixed use development bylaw.
But including housing and the housing trust. So I think that coming to the table will bring that into this discussion.
It'll bring it in for a mixed, I don't know that we want to have this discussion right now, but it will bring it in for a mixed use bylaw. It won't, will inclusionary zoning be in there? Will there be some sort of consideration for affordable housing in there? I think it's if you're targeting just a mixed use bylaw, I'm good with that. It looks like that's what this is. But I think as a community, we have to have a larger discussion around housing. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. If there was something more that we could do sooner, I would do that as well.
Right. So my thoughts on this are...
inclusionary zoning bylaw is something that we could do sooner. So I would want inclusionary zoning included in this mixed use bylaw. And if it's not, I don't know that we're serving the community as well as we could. That's all.
Yeah.
So my thoughts are actually, I agree with both Veronica and Lori's points. My thoughts are actually more practical in terms of timelines and staff usage right now. So I'm not opposed to a volunteer board at all. I'm slightly concerned with the amount of time we have in the budget that we're trying to put forward and the issues we have of getting, of potentially asking staff to spend a lot of time and legal resources in the next 2 months. And I'm just throwing that out there for feedback. If we think if we're looking at any sort of potential reorganization.
I don't think we have to impose on Karen. It was only a suggestion.
No, yeah, that's or just, and as long as planning has the bandwidth for it.
Yeah, I think you'd want to.
It's just the timeline. That's, I'm not arguing that this isn't a really good idea. It's just May.
I think the first iteration of it may be something you present at annual town meeting as a concept, and then receive feedback, and then do it at like a fall town meeting. Would be, we've gotten feedback, we've collected it, we've retooled. You know, fall town meeting would be a little less rigorous in terms of all the other things that are going on in town for, you know, late spring. And then you've really sort of checked with everybody too. So a presentation, you take the feedback, good, bad, or ugly, and then you represent it for as a motion or an article to change some zoning or create opportunity where there hasn't been some before.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I'm not.
a lot of towns are doing it in the rural area. So
And I will say that if it's an ad hoc committee, we don't have to post, from what I understand.
you do not.
So I'm not, like I said, my only concern was the whole thing. I was like, this sounds great. May was my concern. That was just, and spreading out our legal resources, because I imagine there'll be a decent amount that would be involved in this
We've had some
from
legal
budgeting perspective.
resource volunteers.
And these things sometimes take a couple iterations.
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta try at some point, and then when you kind of iron it out, you know.
So
you
mine
figure
was,
out
it
how
was
the
just
cookie tastes and
logistics,
go from there.
and
I
it
don't think
wasn't,
I'd use legal until the final.
yeah, and it wasn't like a naysaying or anything like that. It was just a alert on the timing, just to make sure we get it.
Okay, I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, it's a
Again.
cool idea though. It's something that,
So do we want to, I mean, is there anything we should?
Are you okay with an ad hoc committee trying to get one together? That would be the first step, to get all the players.
I'm okay with that. I think it's worthwhile to talk about this. I would want something broader, but I agree with Valerie on the timing of things. I agree with Kieran on a presentation, just, hey, this is what we're thinking. I think if you're going to put together this ad hoc committee now, when you put together a committee, you want to do something. So if you're going to put it together and just kind of slow walk it, you're going to lose it. So is it better to put it together now with the idea that it's going to be the fall till you have anything here? Or is it better to wait a little bit? I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. But I do agree that the focus right now needs to be on the budget and what the town looks like financially between now and town meeting.
but this will certainly help the town.
Yeah, so
a
I
year
don't-
or two from
Yeah,
now.
I don't want to,
Right.
that's why I don't want
It
to.
will.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, you know, in that, the way I kind of look at things is we're doing a little bit of work to get things on a good path, and this could be something that perpetuates that.
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah, we're, you know, this adds to a good picture for the future. So I agree with that a lot. So
I do too.
I like
I'm
that
just
idea.
a little bit concerned about having a bylaw at town meeting that's fleshed out.
Okay,
Well, maybe we'll put it on, again, I keep looking at 3/3 as a day and evening to revisit these. So maybe that's an opportunity to do that day.
And if you wanted to talk to some of the people that you had thought of.
We'll get some good
I
commitment
just
from
would
some of the
like
players.
permission, if it's a good idea, to see if I can get a good group together. Because we need a lot of different backgrounds here to make this work,
So would like a motion read like,
To-
to form a ad hoc committee.
yeah, the motion would be,
to research.
yeah, like something like move to
I can-
create the ad hoc economic and housing development committee as discussed. So you
Yeah,
could
I'm
read
good
it
with
something to that,
To
come up with a
create,
better
Do
name than
I
that.
create or research? What's the best?
I would go with research first, because
And then
make
create.
sure the players want to play, and be
yeah,
part of
that's
the
what I
team.
would like to do.
Yeah, and that gives Lori and the select board the
I would make a
opportunity to do
motion
that.
for the select board chair to research creating an housing and economic growth ad hoc committee.
Is there a second?
Veronica Kell, second.
Okay. Further discussion? I just, Yeah, I'd like to work on that and then report back at the next meeting,
That would be
okay, and
great.
tell you what I have. And in the meantime, if you can think of anybody else that should be on this, let me know, okay?
I would
'Cause I think-
really like it to be two bylaws, mixed use development and inclusionary
And
zoning.
I'm good with that. I am
Okay.
good with it. You have
Good.
no idea how good I am with that.
Good.
But
This is
I
why
had
you
to
have
start
3 people.
somewhere,
Yeah.
and I did promise them
Yeah.
that, you know, I mean, I was asked, and I did promise them that I would work on this. Because it's causing a lot of people some grief, and it could bring a lot more money into the town. Okay, thank you
We need
for
to-
that.
Do
You
we
got a
need to
motion?
vote?
Yeah, I was doing the discussion, sorry. Roll call vote,
Veronica Cal, aye.
and Laura Schifrin, aye, and thank you. Okay. And what do we?
You can come in and take some.
We have 10 minutes, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So am I going into old business?
We are, yeah, 5.1 for old business.
Okay, second reading of website content policy. How do you wish to proceed?
Well,
We don't need to read these out loud anymore, which is nice. So if you're comfortable with it, you could move to approve and adopt the 1125 website content policy as previously presented, and sign with a signature stamp out of session.
the only thing that was removed was the website administrator or town administrator has to approve all web content because that was entirely impractical.
And you already read
So
that.
we
So
discussed that.
Yeah, we
Alright.
did make that change, correct?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all right, is there a motion?
I move to approve the website content policy from November 2025 as presented and discussed to sign with signature stamps out of session.
Veronica
second?
Cal, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, aye.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. 5.2, review and approve reassignment of board liaison assignments.
these were sent out to these were placed in the SharePoint. Sabrina did a much better job than I did listening to the meeting for all the liaisons, and I think she checked in with folks, I believe. So this might just be a motion to approve as presented.
I made a comment.
I think the only thing was is that at this point, we probably could move like the general government, public safety, and
That was my
elect board
comment.
commission titles, just because they're not really
Right.
accurate. It's like highways and general government.
That was my comment, to take out the general, you know.
Just label it clerk, vice chair.
And the thing is that the intent is that people will have a choice when they come to the table the first meeting in May after every election. Whoever's in whatever chair, you decide. And I think the only thing that might change, and it's my fault, is the town properties committee. I'm appointed and sworn in. So I can give you back something else. Are you
Okay.
sure?
Whatever you want to do is fine with me. I'm flexible. The town properties, I don't have town properties.
Oh,
Yes, it's on the back.
Yeah.
It,
Oh, okay, sorry.
under committee assignments
your
chair.
assignment.
Sorry.
So
I'm
that's
confused.
not your assignment.
Okay.
That was mine. Okay, so you're the audit committee on that assignment.
And that was last week, so that's fine.
Yeah. So we'll change that outside of that, those two things,
And I
okay?
just changed that other one.
Yep, so I see it's been live changed, if you will.
All I did was changed the titles to clerk, vice chair, and chair. Like you mentioned, Lori. So it's no longer general government, public safety.
Okay, thank you. And then the other ones in red are the NAs.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
Did
there's
I get
other,
the wrong SharePoint? Because all of those NAs are out of there, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't
there's
have
still,
any.
there's, okay, fine.
Oh, oh
What I
yeah, I
printed
do
out.
have them. They're not in red though on mine. The master plan, is that what you're talking about? West Townsend Reading Room?
They're not, yeah.
Um,
Isn't it the
Inspector,
Abraham, isn't it the French fund that's on freeze?
No, that's the,
it is
um,
It is
worthy
the-
funds.
Those are the worthy funds, right?
Yes.
For Abraham French
just that
fund?
one?
That's the wrong guy.
There
No.
are several of them, but that
I was gonna
one,
say, are there other ones that are used for other things there?
there are
Are there
other funds,
funds?
but this is the only one that needs to be investigated to find out how the trust works, what is actually in the bequest to the town for the
Right.
management of these funds. And
We did freeze it at a
So I guess
meeting.
that I'll
We
make
did.
that a summer to do.
but it
Or if
might
you want-
come back. That's the thing. And that's the thing with the NAs.
Just for the sense of time.
I think it's. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
master plan won't be for 5 years. These can change as they change, once a year,
Mhm.
you know?
Or if you just don't feel up to it, you could say, hey, I
Yep.
don't have the capacity to
Yeah.
do bus committee, and I'd rather
Yeah.
take snowboarding committee. I don't know.
Okay. Are we approved on this date with the edits?
Would you like a motion?
Yes, please.
I, Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the select board liaison assignments list of February 10th, 2026 as presented and signed out of session with signature stamp.
There's a second.
We're signing it out of session?
We're signing
Yeah,
You can.
we don't, I mean, we
We
don't have
never
to.
have before. We've just agreed
It's a
to them.
default motion,
it?
okay?
All right.
Okay, I Valerie Goodrich, move to approve the select board liaison assignments list of February 10th, 2026
As presented.
as presented.
Veronica
Is there a
Cal, I.
Were you the
Yeah.
second?
Veronica, that was a second, and then Lori will call. for
Oh,
a vote.
yeah. Veronica Cal second. Sorry. It's hard when you're not in the room.
I know. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Cal, I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much. We got 3 minutes?
We have 3 minutes before our joint meeting is kicked off with FinCom. Just as an FYI.
We do.
Can we do 5.5? Because wasn't that already posted?
5.5 is
It's posted.
completed.
It was deleted in the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
It was one of my deletions. It was the only deletion I had, actually.
Okay, good.
So we can either
We can take a break?
take a minute break and allow our FinCom friends to come up,
Yeah, why don't we do
and
that?
then
We'll
we'll
take a
revisit.
break for a couple minutes. And then we'll go into the joint with FinCom. Okay?
Looks to be back here at 6 p.m. for those that are listening at home. Yeah, I'll move all my stuff.
Oh, listen. You had the room, so you spread out.
Can I do a appointed before? Yes.
Okay, at this point, I would like to call the Accounts and Finance Committee meeting to order at 6 o'clock.
For those listening at home, we are back in live. So Veronica will log back on in just a moment. And our friends who are listening otherwise, hopefully you can hear us. If you can, hopefully we're good to go.
Okay.
Okay,
Donnie,
and-
do you want to do your roll
Yeah, roll
call?
call attendance, please.
Jerome Ziegler,
Kathleen Spofford here. Mary Jane Churchfield here.
Dave Walker here.
Big Carol House is present.
He's present. It is 6 out of the 7, so we have a quorum here.
Sam not coming.
Haven't seen anything from him, so he may be.
There's Sam.
There he is. We'll give Sam, we'll give it one more minute here.
Sam.
Okay. Oh, you need the chair.
Right, you can get out.
Oh, Jam. I like this chair, thank you.
Anybody else need one of these chairs? Okay with,
Yeah.
Official, roll call.
Yes,
Here, same
I was gonna log in to show the PowerPoint, but I guess we don't have it. You have it? Okay, maybe we don't need it.
But you may want to do that for the audience.
So they can't see it without TCAM giving you that, right? So I'm gonna work on that for next time. They'll allow the screen sharing,
Oh.
But-
Oh, you
Yeah,
talked
always
to him about
screen
that before, but.
but just quickly, I just didn't get a chance to actually like fake it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
From our part here, we are resuming our select board meeting and starting our joint with the finance committee. Roll call, virtual first, please.
Veronica Cal, present remote.
Good at present.
And Laura Schifrin present, and we are at 6:02.
Um,
Karen?
Yes, we had a really good meeting last week in terms of hearing how where the police department was coming from, but also just some real preliminary sort of observations of what's going on with the budget within the department requests that we had before us. I have since visited with our department heads, shared with them the level of spending, level funding, however you want to phrase it, determination, thanks to your guys' motion and support. This will come up in my TA reports, but in general, the department heads were appreciative of the information and the transparency in terms of what's going on, but certainly disappointed that there's really not a lot of opportunity for growth for their departments, whether it be wages, supplies, energy. The cost of energy is through the roof right now. And that is really going to limit some of the spending opportunities for our departments. A few departments have been gracious and taken some time already to share with me their level spending budget. They're making some shifts in wages, or they're making some shifts in part-time folks. That's sort of the preliminary look. The goal is still to get as many of those budgets as possible by February 26th. And then I will share them with Don so he can spread them out to your team so you guys can start to look at it from that side of things. I'll also input it into the omnibus budget at that point and then truly be in a position to present line by line, whether it's at that budget summit or at another meeting where we can all get together. Where we are tonight is, if you look at the second slide, the second page under this one, I shared this with our department head meeting. I sort of phrased it as a town administrator tactics page. And, I wanted them to feel comfortable asking questions. I wanted to share that I went to the school hearing last night, the school budget hearing last night, and Valerie joined, as well as Veronica. So we did have a select board quorum there. And that budget is going to be above the 2.5, levy limit. But the school has worked hard to rein it in. It just isn't possible with all the expenses that are going on right now. But they were gracious, and they were, I think they heard us in terms of where the town's coming from. But again, I hammered the 2.5 because they're probably sick and tired of hearing it, but that's sort of where they're going. They're using E&D funding. They're only adding like 3.85 FTEs is sort of what I gathered. And that's after, the previous year, you really laid off a good number of folks from the school. And, that really talks to you about class size, coverage administratively being stretched thin with nursing, all the different things you think of when you send a kiddo to school. Where that's left me tonight is to share with you, I just cobbled together a number of $500,000 operational override for the town. And I know we are not making any decisions tonight. We're not promising anything to staff or to residents for them to consider for their budget or their pocketbook purposes. But I do think it's important to start the conversation in terms of what it is as an impact. I was talking with a resident earlier, and she, was saying, "Oh, my tax bill's around $10,000." So I figured, all right, so she has a house that's worth right around $700K. $500,000 override to her is probably about $230-ish more per year. And you split that in 4, so then you're at what, $65 a quarter? And if you split that into a month, it's, 5 less large Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees a month. You can start to sort of, find a math to help people understand what their impact might be.
So is this 500,000 include the police budget of 300?
This is my
It's
number.
just a hypothetical.
Hypothetical. This is
For
illustrative
conversation.
purposes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not a number. He's just giving an example.
okay.
If you really want to do your own FinCom sort of
Try it
investigation.
on 1.2 million
Exactly.
override
Uh,
and make a lot of people happy.
Yeah. DLS actually has a wonderful website that you can select towns in from the dropdown and input it yourself. It'll also, because I poached a lot of their information, it actually has what the average tax bill is right now and what it might be, with a $500,000 override, a $1.2 million override. Remember, it does not include CPA. So when you're playing these scenarios out or you're doing a presentation, CPA is not a part of that. So that's sort of where I came from with chatting with the department heads. I did ask them to email me if they anticipated having to be an exception to my thought. And I think my takeaway from last meeting of a hiring freeze, a hiring freeze does, significant impact to our police. Highway has sort of a mechanic that they've been looking for a mechanic for a while, near the finish line here of being ready to be sent an offer. Recreation, has spring, requirements for their programming that a hiring freeze would legitimately impact. But I shared with you those sort of anecdotal stories that should be in your packet as well. I'm happy to connect on those. You have your mechanic position, 2 police officers, because we just lost 2. One retired and one resigned for greener pastures elsewhere and not to be working nights. That was just, there was another opportunity elsewhere. Highway is spending a great deal of money on a vendor or a contractor to do their mechanic work. That mechanic could also be someone that could run a plow, and we're paying that OT now for a plow work, or we're paying a contractor from Kieran's Plow Company to do the work. Hypothetical, I don't own a plow company, but I wish I did these days. Recreation, same thing. There is spring programming and expectations in terms of how they look to outfit their department. So really it's a question for FinCom board as well as select board to decide if you want to enact a hiring freeze, if you want to offer exceptions, if you don't want me to do anything at all, because those folks will be hired if we take no action. There is a process. We have a records person for the police department as well. And when you hire that person on, that means our red gets brighter and brighter.
Can I just say something?
Mm-hmm.
So with recreation, I think they're in a different position because that comes out of the revolving account.
She still has to hire them though.
I know that, but I think that that's a good reason for an exception because it does serve the town. It's a great service for the town, as people. But where it doesn't come from actual budget money, that might be a little bit different as far as everybody else. As far as I'm concerned, either you have it or you don't.
It's something for you guys to consider and debate and ask questions of.
I have a question on recreation. I thought it was self-funding.
Well, that's what I was
It
saying.
is, but a hiring freeze across the board is what I asked for, so no one gets anything.
So then we're
So
not-
But
it
it's
doesn't,
not self-funding.
Not always.
What?
There's,
It's not self-funding. I
we were
mean,
told it
yeah,
was self-funding,
yes, it is. It
except
comes out
for
of
her
your budget.
salary.
Yeah,
so that means
oh,
it's
her
not,
salary.
yeah, her salary is the,
right, but that's,
Well, I mean, you're not freezing her, I mean, you're talking about bringing on new people.
well,
Some are
the
higher.
definition
Yeah,
of
I
self-funding would
understand.
mean that her salary is paid for. Their salary, that director
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
is paid for.
uh-huh.
but it's not.
It's not.
The summer
No, wait a minute,
program.
say that
It's
again.
in our
yes.
budget.
So
Excuse
when,
me, say that
so
again.
if you say you're self-funding, that means all the money you get in is used to pay the money out and cover your expenses.
I would like you to say that again, and I would like you to say it loud and clear, because that's the way I understood it. But that's not the way it was explained to me last year as a new person. I was told, not only by the select board, but by the recreation department, of which I am now sitting on the board, that it is self-funded except for her position. Can you explain that?
Well, if you get $1,000 in, then you get to pay your $1,000 with expenses, labor, everything else. If you have a cost that exceeds what you take in, it's not self-funding, it's a negative balance.
has that happened?
I don't see their books daily. Like, I don't know if they're bringing in enough money to offset her salary.
Not to
No, but
off,
her salary is a budget, is,
But then you're not a self-funding department.
That's my point.
what I'm saying is that the program, the summer program, which she would be hiring people for, is self-funding.
Not with her, because she's still the director. The recreation director is
I
still
don't understand
overseeing.
this
her.
hybrid talk. I mean, I need to have it broken down so I really understand it. And my IQ is not that low. So let's go over it again. Self-funding, according to your definition, is all the money that comes in goes out.
To be paid.
To be paid for expenses,
For expenses.
wages, et cetera.
That's a self-funding program.
Mhm.
So her program is not self-funding then, correct?
Not in that definition.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So
Very interesting, because that's what we've been led to believe. I think that's an important issue, but we'll get to that later. But thank you for clarifying that.
And along the same lines, I would say, if there's a position needed at the recycle center, which is paid out of the recycle
mhm.
fund, and if they have somebody that leaves too, you need to have somebody man that so that you have staffing so that we can use the town can use the recycle center on the Saturdays.
But we're not just talking about that, we also need police officers.
We-
And if we had
we do.
4 people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
they're
might
not,
matter.
but they're not out of a revolving.
But there are also costs for hiring people and bringing them on board and that whole process. So I think there is things that are funded by other means, but I understand, and I had a conversation with the consultant mentor that we're using,
Mhm.
and the way he kind of explained it, which had helped me a lot, was what it allows the executive to do is whenever there's a position open, when you freeze everything, you say, okay, whatever money we need for this position, we have to remove somewhere else. Are we willing to think about that scenario? If we need $100,000, and you might not have the exact answer, we have to realize it may need to be removed somewhere else from the budget. And it allows us to have that conversation, and you can make exceptions, but we'll have to have that conversation when a position is open.
Agreed. I often thought that anytime there's a hiring position, that isn't part of the annual budget discussion and what's approved, that there should be a review and a document signed about where the funds are coming from for the existing year and the follow-on years.
So this is just saying that for budgeted items, because they're
Right, yeah.
budgets. And I could be wrong,
Right.
I could be wrong, Karen, about
It's
that,
kinda
but
like-
that's how it's kind of,
Right, so if
that
you,
analysis needs to be done when the budget's,
Right.
when we don't have a balanced
When-
budget.
when a printer breaks and you have to have a new one,
But why are we talking about this if this budget that we're suggesting is given and then the department heads have to work it out themselves? I mean, why are we trying to solve problems that they should be solving?
Sure. So in the light of the police department, I know Chief Sartell's listening, so he may speak up if I'm very wrong, but he had shared with our group last week about the cost to train up to someone and get them on board.
Yes.
And then that takes a lot of time. So if he were to, freeze right now in the mud, he may be just waiting. And while he's waiting, our overtime costs and liability with those officers that are here every day and they're being burned out and working triples, doubles, whatever, that expense will go through the roof. So it's the balancing act of having someone rolling, almost like a rolling admission that a college would use. It's like trying to bring you on board, trying to get you in and go from there.
So, okay, so what's the exception? What's B, plan B?
So I think we're in a tricky situation financially. And we are going to, if we were to fill 2 police officers tomorrow, that would be great for the department. It would help the chief. That would be wonderful. To Valerie's earlier point, we still have to pay them come July 1.
Is it in the budget now?
It is, but we've also had to pay out the PTO and things like that to the now departed officers.
So, okay.
So it's not perfect science.
Right.
For highway might be a simpler observation because they're paying a mechanic to work on our machines and they're not also available to come and plow. Whereas if he had an in-house mechanic, that person could also plow. They could help work on the machines. They could help us with some deferred maintenance out there. That's a real win. And I know Chief Sartell's hand's up, but I'm going to see if there's any other questions in the room before I jump to the chief. So, Chief, if you unmute, I can hear you better.
I think can you hear me now?
We can, we got you.
Yes.
All right, I apologize for the connection. I'm mobile, I'm in the car. Just a point of clarification relative to the funding. Yes, they are budgeted both for 26 and for my submitted 27 budgets. That said, there's zero chance or very little chance that we would be paying anyone fiscal 26. By the time we onboarded people, got them through the background process and signed them up for an academy, we most assuredly would be into fiscal 27. If we were lucky enough for a June academy, that would be great, but that window is closing very quickly. So if you give me permission to full steam ahead, it's not going to have the impact in 26, irrespective of what decisions we make relative to my 27 budget. But yes, all those positions are fully funded. And any of the payouts that are referenced are more than offset by the fact that the person that they're paid out to has not been drawing a salary in some time.
Thank you. He did a much better job answering that question.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Yeah,
He knows
he
it.
had
He knows it.
scenarios.
Yeah.
He had
But-
2 scenarios also.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Right? 1,
Yeah.
2, and 3.
Yeah.
Good, better, best.
Yeah, I think Veronica wants to.
Yeah. Veronica, shifting to you.
Yes, yeah, I'm unmuted. Okay. The thing about the police is a lot of that rides on the result of the warrant articles.
Correct.
So that makes that a little tricky. I guess what are the ramifications if we go forward with hiring? And I'm not opposed to hiring, especially the records clerk, because that's kind of outside of the realm of the officers, and the override that is being requested doesn't apply to non-union. It applies only to the police officers union position. So I think we have to think about that. And what I don't want to wind up doing with any of these positions is bringing someone on only to lay them off. If in fact that's something that we have to do, which I hope we don't, but we don't know at this point. We may have to do that. So how do we, I'm not saying one way or the other. If it's a union position, I think we have to think about it. That's all.
Well, would you still have to pay for a layoff if you interviewed and hired someone, but before they start, especially if he says, you know, they're not gonna start until July at the earliest. But before they start, we determine, no, we can't do that, but they haven't come on board yet. You still have a little
Yeah.
flexibility.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I just would be,
I mean, I know that's a very bad thing to do. It's a bad look,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
yeah. So had this happen in a town where I'm a select board member, where we had someone go through the whole academy, they were a great candidate, and then we couldn't fund the officer position with an override, and then they went to pep roll and they're like an all-star police officer. So it's just like,
I
The
know
chief
it's,
has his hand
Yeah,
up
I see.
to answer that question, probably.
oh, okay.
Chief Sartell?
Yeah, I apologize again about the connection. I just want to make sure that we're all remembering that we are contractually obligated to maintain certain levels of staffing that require a specific amount of guys to make sure that we can cover those shifts. That needs to be a consideration when we're determining this. Let's not forget, we're talking about, 20 to 25% of my patrol staff right now. And in order to comply with the terms of the contract, we need to run our guys ragged. We have to remember that that could have a date stamp. One guy goes out on paternity leave or medical leave of any sort, gets hurt, God forbid. I'm not so sure we can make good on our contractually obligated shift coverage. That doesn't mean we couldn't address the union and bargain that, but we did in the last session, and it was not, we did not bargain that issue at all. So it's standing in the contract that we have a minimum mandatory staffing level that we need to remember when we are compiling our roster.
So that's not a state mandated number, that was bargained with the police union
Negotiated.
within the town. Is that true?
Chief Sartell?
Yeah, that's correct. If you were to go off of the average amount of officers from a ratio perspective, in the Northeast, it's usually 1.7 per 1,000 residents, which would put us at around 17. We have budgeted for fiscal 27 based on the budget that I submitted. We have 15. Last year, we ran 14 funded. Just gives you an idea. I think that 1.7 number is fairly well accepted and generally the consensus of most studies. But yeah, just so that is not a state mandate or a federal mandate of any sort. It is a mandate that we have in our collective bargaining agreement.
Okay.
Chief, is your number 14 or 15 based on the fiscal year 27 ask? I thought it was 14.
So fiscal 26 was 14 funded positions. My submissions for fiscal 25, which again were 3 different submissions, but all 3 of them contemplated 15 sworn positions. And the accompanying org chart and roster will give you a little bit more information if you need that.
Okay. Veronica?
And the chief can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the mandatory staffing has been in place for the past 2 contracts that we've had with the police union, that this is the contract that we're putting forward at the special town meeting is the 3rd contract with that minimum staffing as part of it.
Yeah, that's correct. I did some research when it was bargained in about 6-7 years ago, I think is how long it's been bargained in. But doing some research and talking to the old timers all the way back to Chief May, who I just recently had a conversation with about this very issue, there's no recent memory of one officer on any of the shifts in 40 years.
Thank you. So bringing it back to us here in the room, I will.
So can you go over the 3 again for you? 1, 2, and 3? Yeah.
What I would do, or?
Yeah. What, the one you, what did you say? It was 3 options.
3 scenarios.
Yeah, so you can.
Exception.
Or do nothing.
Or do nothing, right? What's the second one? The exception, how does that work? How do the exceptions work?
The exception would be the FinCom and Select Board say, Kieran, we authorized you to initiate a hiring freeze, except for the highway mechanic position to be filled, on or before April 1st, let's say, and police positions to be, remain open as described. and to allow recreation the opportunity to fill their, positions and, continue to pay them using the revolving fund.
That's it? Nobody else is on it?
No one else asked.
I would add that, I would think that the select board would want the TA to be able to bring exceptions to the select board for consideration.
But he's saying no one else asked.
Okay, I'm just gonna give a hypothetical. If Chief Sartell, you win $1 billion tomorrow, right? I would like Kieran to be able to come to select board and say, we have a hiring freeze, but we have a police chief that we need to hire.
We have a new opening that needs to be considered.
And so, but every,
The police is accepted,
no,
right?
but every
Just
opening
For
going
the 3
forward.
positions.
So if we do, like, we did a
Oh.
hiring freeze in the fall, but it was a brief one, I think.
Yeah, late summer. we did
Yeah.
one,
And so nothing came up in that time, but if something had come up, I mean, I think
It would have been
I, as a
presented to the
select board,
select
would
board.
want you to present it to us as a possible exception.
Is the recycling center a self-funded position?
Supposed to be,
Revolving account.
but it's similar to your recreation.
What?
It's similar to the structure of the recreation department.
So the people that are over there, if they decide to say, I'm done with it, I assume that because it's self-funding, it has nothing to do with the budget.
But as the earlier conversation noted, they're self-funding, but they have a town person receiving wages.
Right, we're
On the
not
general.
talking about the person that's on the budget.
Who's that?
No.
No,
Correct.
In the case of recreation,
And
we're
she
talking about the
supervises the
other,
recycling.
the
center.
others, not the
She's the supervisor.
recreation supervisor or whatever her title is, okay?
Talking about somebody else.
Or the health department's, supervisor or whatever. And we're talking about the others that are paid out of a revolving fund
Exactly.
where the money comes in and they get paid out of that. Those are the people we're talking about who need to be replaced as time goes on if they lose that person. In other words, yes, you have a hiring freeze, so you're saying, okay, you got 2 people in the recycling center, they can't hire a 3rd or 4th, but they need to be able to replace people that go, and those people, especially that those people are not on the budget. They're in this different budget area where there's a specific amount of funds that are taken into the recycling and go out to these people.
I
Yeah.
can't wrap my head
I
around that.
agree. I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
Sam, and I agree with you.
I understand it, but I would still want those department heads to come to the town administrator and say, I lost John Smith.
Okay.
I need to hire Steve Smith to backfill.
Right.
And then I present that to these boards to say, we lost someone. Can they make do?
So,
Even if it's a revolving fund, can you make do? Because
Yeah.
next year is even worse financially.
well, that's what, you know what, that's what I think we have an obligation to keep in our mind for next year and next year, because you're right, it's only gonna get worse, and we have to stop it at some point. So I understand you're trying to mediate here with the 3 things, and that's great. I would have preferred if you just came in and said, this is it, but, so, on this hiring
You get to
thing,
do that though.
we were very effective last year, right? So, on this hiring, I understand what you're saying now. You're saying that if John leaves and we want to replace him with Jane. Okay, so for me, that's just a replacement. A hiring freeze means we're not bringing anybody new on.
So in the event that I like Jim Smith, so hopefully he doesn't mind me using him. Jim Smith leaves. He says, I won Powerball, I'm out of here.
Mhm.
And we can, look at someone else in his department and be like, hey, could you step up and fill the role?
Mhm.
I would say, we're not going to hire Jim's.
Person, right.
We're going to give Bobby $10,000 more
Mhm.
and we're going to make do.
Okay, so we didn't hire anybody.
Correct.
Got it.
And that would be the
Reduction of
spot.
headcount because it's reduction of
Yeah.
insurance costs, everything.
Okay. So specifically, what do we mean when we say implement hiring freeze?
So like we have a town accountant position posted right now.
Posted.
That would be pulled down.
Okay.
Everything except for the things that we give an exception to would no longer be posted.
Okay, so could we have a list of what those are, so we have a clue?
What's happening with the accounting?
It's.
We have a remote services
Yeah,
and they're doing,
and they're cost effective?
Oh, no, that's another issue we're dealing with, phrasing.
they're as cost effective as we can get because we can't afford to pay a town accountant more than 6 figures. That's what the going rate is.
We hadn't
But the
offered,
town
More
account
than
wasn't
6
making any
figures?
more
More
than 5
that.
figures.
I think
know.
you meant 5, right?
6 is what
More
a
than
good,
6
a
figures?
good town accountant's around $110,000 a
Yeah,
year.
no, but we can't afford to pay him
Right, so
over
then-
5 figures.
Right, so
Yeah,
then keep
yeah,
it-
yeah,
So then
yeah,
keep it as is right now. So that
Yeah.
opening,
Holy
come
moly.
down. There's no point in someone applying here right now for it.
I know, but don't say that, because that sounds so very.
But that's the cruel real
But
world
there's a
we're in right now.
shortage anyway, so.
Well,
And
yeah,
we-
well, I
we
mean,
did-
Katie would have stayed. She told me she would have stayed in a
We had-
heartbeat.
we had an offer for an accountant and we
But we had a
we
really
didn't pay
good
enough.
account,
didn't pay enough.
and she wanted to stay, and money wasn't the issue. And that's part of what I want to get out here, is what are we really talking about when it comes down to nuts and bolts, if we are that desperate position, which I believe we are.
Sure.
We
So
had-
that argument's not working, but, because we had somebody, and she left for different reasons, not money.
I don't think that's just a point of order, the topic of this conversation.
Right, okay. So on the phrase, exceptions, do we have to outline every exception at this time? Is that what you're gonna ask us for if we go for
I
B?
would, because these are the 3 departments that asked for an exception. And I had the department head meeting here, and only a couple of departments weren't able to attend. And I'm pretty sure the message was gotten out. And so if you had something that was an exception, you should have emailed me.
All right, yes.
So you say recreation, police, and who was the other?
Highway.
Highway.
And for
So how did-
highway, it's just the mechanic position. It's not the position that was bargained out as a result of the failed override, correct?
This is this is not the heavy equipment operator. This is the mechanic position.
But, and that, but that
Yes,
position
and
was-
that one was one that was to be hired.
Correct.
right.
in the
that- that
budget.
was- He left
So.
last year, right?
I think that's what Jim said. He left.
Did he leave or did he get
I-
kicked out?
Again,
It was
point of order.
Well,
transfer.
no.
I agree with Valerie, point of order.
So, well,
It's just, that's an employee matter that isn't the topic of this discussion.
Right.
As to why somebody,
Well, I guess what I
Why
should have
does it open
said-
at
I
the
just don't want-
mechanic level?
labor,
I
to
thought-
get into the,
You're identifying,
so
um,
last year, that position was not held open. I guess that's my question.
it was open.
Yeah.
It's
Which
been
one, the
open.
mechanic?
The mechanic position has been open for
Yeah.
a while.
So, and that would be one that you would take down if we don't go with Plan B.
I would keep the mechanic. So if you were to,
If we froze all,
if we froze all the, like I would tell Jim, I'd be like, hey, your mechanic that become a finalist, tell them no, thank you. We're not going to move forward with the next steps in the hiring process.
Okay, so, all right, so.
Because he's come, he's
And-
interviewed, he seems like a
So-
good guy.
If this is gonna happen, can we make it hard fast that if you didn't step up to the plate to this point, that you can't step up next week and say, I need somebody? I mean, or are we gonna fold
I'm
again?
not comfortable.
I think that was what I was saying is as a select board member, I would say Kieran would bring any exceptions to the board to discuss. As I said, if Chief Sartell wins $1 billion, we would want to be able to discuss that to make an exception.
But what about a department head who hasn't come forth yet and who decides, oh, I'm gonna look at my stuff now and come next week?
Kieran would decide if that was worth bringing forward to
I
us
would
or
probably
not.
filter that out, and as I sat down with Chief Sartell, I've sat down with, Jim from Highway. I haven't sat down with Recreation, but they made a point to send an email, which is what I asked.
And that's it.
And that's where
It wasn't a hard lift to send a paragraph to me to say why I really needed someone.
Well, maybe they don't then.
Well, that's what I'm
That's
saying right now.
exactly
The exception, I get the exception part, but I don't get the exception if a department head did not step up within your time period. Why should they get?
So I would keep that in my back pocket if I were on FinCom and Select Board. Be like, where were you 2 weeks ago?
Well, that's what DLS says. If you don't have your budget in by a certain date, your budget reverts to last year.
Mhm.
And that didn't happen last year with us.
But so that's also why we have a town administrator to filter that up, because none of us are day-to-day employees, and bring it forward and say, no, they've got a hiring freeze. Oh, gosh, yeah, I need to bring that up.
But you're not saying that, say, whatever department I am, and 2 months from now, whatever, somebody leaves and it's a hole that I need to fill. You're saying I could still come to you 2 months from now and say, I have this hole that I think is critical to fill, and then please present it.
So present it as I have tonight, say, hey guys, let's make a decision together.
Okay.
You ask some tough questions. Is it really necessary? Is it not?
And filling a hole of someone leaving is different than someone saying, oh, I didn't think of this and get to you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's a whole other ballgame.
And I think, I think we would be able to determine, to dissect that.
I can
At the time.
gut check that pretty easily.
Right, he would be, he would sit there and go, well, why didn't you tell me? And if they convince you, then you might come to us, and then we might say to you, well, why didn't they tell you?
Right.
And we might say, well, that's not a good enough reason.
So can we run the government with the freeze, the way it is now?
Yeah, you're running it now.
Oh, that's a good point.
And how much money does the freeze save?
Well,
Do we know?
not exactly. It's not a science in terms of where the police wages go.
Right, where the steps are when they get hired and things like that.
Oh, they're
Who they
high
are.
staff.
And plus with the police, with the positions, if we don't fill those positions, you're paying
Overtime.
overtime to other people to fill that
It's
spot.
less, the
So
way I understand it is it's less of a specific number. It's more of a evaluating your budget tactic. It's not like we're saving this much money. It's saying every time something happens, we get a chance to say, can we save money here?
right.
It's like an ongoing process a little bit.
So these exceptions are the three departments that brought this forward. Because they came forward, is it almost like automatic that they would get it?
No, I didn't promise
no,
anything.
no.
Decision.
Okay.
How's that gonna happen? We won't have the money.
Yeah,
They
I
can ask for whatever.
I was just,
No, I'm just saying the exceptions that was brought forward so far. That, you have the freeze, you have the exception, and you have no hiring freeze. So are the exceptions, because they came forward, it's just a given that they're gonna get it?
We could decide to do one. I think, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, we could take a recommendation from the finance committee to the select board on, and then the select board would vote on what a freeze would look like.
You could say, okay, we believe in the mechanic because that's an important role. It's costing us a lot of money out of pocket right now to have, McGovern Auto work on the machines. And we also are down a heavy equipment operator there, but this person can also run the plows.
Would that person undertake that with the understanding that that's what he would be doing?
It's in the job description.
Okay.
Oh,
And I got that clarity from Jim. He goes,
Thank
well, no,
you.
they're also going to be running the excavator,
okay.
loading the trucks full of salt and all that.
Okay.
So that person does have sort of multiple roles and multiple ways to contribute. For the police department, I think the OT costs are going to rise at a pretty dramatic rate. And, I think those guys are going to burn out over there. Everybody does. At some point, you just get, over your skis and it's too much work.
Yeah, I agree that highway is critical, that, obviously, they only have like 2 people there now. And I do believe that the police, we can't afford to get
You can't
this.
afford to train somebody and lose it.
Yeah, no, I
That's just a
understand,
bad practice.
and Chief Sartell very clearly, I wrote out, I don't see the recreation. I don't see recreation in the same bucket as police and highway.
I was gonna say, I don't see a recreation form in here supporting the hiring of.
They sent me an email, so that's what I shared,
I was looking at
It's the last page, yeah.
Yeah, she mentioned it to me in conversation. It was me saying Emmy for recreation, also mentioned the issue that she has temporary workers starting in the spring for recreation needs.
Is that the summer program?
before
Why
we
can't that be paid out of the, out of her, she charges for those kids to go to camp, why can't that be paid out of that?
It will be, but again, even if it's a revolving fund, if you think this year is bad, next year's revolving fund, maybe even less. Like
Then they're just gonna do more fundraising. That's all there is to it. I mean, let's be honest here, everybody. We talk about it.
Before I would put recreation in that realm, I would like to see a list of the program, estimated revenues from each program, and the people we're hiring, not just, I need to hire people.
But is it just the summer program she has? Does she have?
That's spring.
Does he have any other
spring,
programs?
yeah.
She's got that before and after school, but
That's a baby sort of childcare.
Yeah, we still don't know how many people actually take
advantage.
We don't
take
know
advantage of it. I mean, how many kids
specs
are really
on
in
that.
there?
Okay.
So, anticipated hours, it's kind of like, that's an open-ended if we just say.
If she comes back and says, hey, those will all balance out on my revolving fund, does that satisfy?
no, we want to see the,
See the full, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, we can ask Elizabeth.
I think that might be a conversation you guys actually want to have with their
Recreation,
committee,
yeah.
the committee.
Okay. and-
So you guys might want to have
and
a
the
joint
revolving
meeting with
fund, get
the
Elizabeth.
recreation committee, because that's who's,
well, but don't you want us to vote tonight?
You can take no action on
Yeah.
recreation,
No.
and you can say, here, move-
Keep them
yeah,
out and do the other two.
and then, in the meantime, your group could say, we're gonna chat with recreation offline in our own meeting and have them share with us some numbers and how the revolving account's doing. What are the other costs that are the burden of the town, things like that.
and maybe
Because there
call
are
them.
indirect costs.
They have a board, so maybe call them in and have a joint meeting with them. And I did check in, and the way it would work is you guys would make a recommendation, and then we would implement
Right.
the hiring
Or not,
freeze.
yeah.
Or not. I mean,
Right.
I would listen to your recommendation, but
We've been there. We were there last year. Okay, so, which is interesting.
Any other comments from folks listening at home? I know Chief Sartell spoke. Veronica, anything else? I didn't see your hand up, but just trying to.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, I wish I had better news. I keep saying that to the staff, and need someone in for a committee today. And I was
We're gonna
like,
make a recording.
Yeah, I was gonna say in November when we were shown the 5-year.
I have a quick question. Do we have an auxiliary police area force at all? I mean, years ago we used to. Do we anymore?
No,
I think
we
The
don't.
answer is no.
Post
Okay.
doesn't allow that anymore.
They don't.
Yeah, they need the same training as a full-time officer.
I see.
And as a result, it was very expensive to keep them on.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was what I recall from the chief telling me a couple of years ago.
Thank you.
We had the same question then, the auxiliary officer line went from whatever it was to 0.
So FinCom could make a recommendation to the select board and to the town administrator if you were so inclined, or not, up to you guys in terms of doing what you're comfortable with. And giving me my marching orders so I can relay it to police and relay it to highway.
I'll make a motion.
And also, an email will go out to the department head saying, any hiring needs to be run through my office, the town administrator office. Any hiring and any openings that are up, again, the accountant I'll use as a lame duck, pulled down.
So I'll make a motion that we recommend to the select board to implement a hiring freeze with an exception for the 2 police positions and an exception for the highway department mechanic position. And any other,
Do you also want to, the police chief also asked for a records process?
Oh, yes,
And-
yes, and the records.
Just want to make sure I encapsulate all.
So it's 3.
Yes, ma'am.
3 positions.
3 plus a highways, 4.
And
positions
any
total.
other requests must go through the town administrator, who will then bring them to the select board for approval.
Or were we talking about putting on hold?
Select board and
I
finance?
think it depends.
Or
A
they
lot
could
of
go
it
to
would-
finance.
I think, yeah, both, but like if it was an emergency thing or something like that, because we're the appointing authority, I think it gives Kieran the leeway to make those decisions, which is a good idea.
So just to clarify, the motion was 2 police officers, 1 admin record keeper for the police department, plus a mechanic position for highway.
Okay, so
Those
that's
were the-
four.
So
Right.
four total,
Right.
and we will take no action on what I believe was recreation's need for part-time wages, and however they see fit, so that you guys can visit with recreation. Just make sure we're all understand it.
The person.
Yeah, and I have so that's a motion, so I know there's a question up from Ms. Kell, but I'm gonna see if the motion.
Is there a
Is
second?
there
I
a
was gonna
second?
say we haven't had a second yet, but,
I'll second it.
Okay, Carol seconded.
okay.
So we have a second,
Discussion.
Veronica. Veronica, you can ask your question.
My question is perhaps for Chief Sartell. I thought if given the fact that no one would come on board anyway until July 1st, is it 2 officer positions or is it 3? Because we have 3 officer positions open. The 2 who have recently left and the one that was not hired in FY26. And I believe, and Chief Sartell can answer this more than likely, I believe that the contract is for filling all 15 positions, and that was taken into account for the override question in the special town meeting.
Yeah, so let me unpack that a little bit. A couple things. Yeah, fiscal 27 budgets, all of them are made with the assumption that I'd have full staffing, so all 15 spots. So that is 3 patrol officer positions for sure. So it's semantical in a way because I'm not sure I'd be able to fill all those 3 in a time period in which it would have any fiscal implications. And as noted in the past, I do have conditional offers of employment that go out that always have the condition of final approval by the Board of Selectmen. So there's a safety valve there if we decided that we wanted to change things up midstream. This authorization that you're providing me allows me to at least keep the process going and keep the train going. Hopefully that we can identify and onboard someone. But the fiscal reality, if I got a full-time certified officer that wanted to come, that could hasten things a bit. Unlikely as that may be, that could be a way that the funds in 26 would be impacted. But otherwise, I don't see this to be a fiscal issue in fiscal 26, really. It's more of one for 27. It's the lag of getting the person identified, tested, background, on board, academy, all those things make it such that you're making decisions that impact 9 months from now, not next week or next month.
Thanks.
So that's 5 then.
Yes, ma'am. So now,
Wait, 5?
good clarity.
Yes.
So 3 police officers,
3,
1 admin for the police department for record keeping purposes,
Jim.
and 1 mechanic for the highway.
So you're just making the motion to cover what may happen, because Chief
Correct.
Sartell is saying
it might
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's
But if it
exactly
does,
it.
he's covered, okay. I
It
get
also is part of
It's
the
part of
special town
contract.
meeting.
Right.
Right.
It's a special town meeting approves the override for the budget.
For the police.
That would.
Okay, yeah, that's,
So
Okay.
motion for the 3.
amended.
Amended.
Well,
1 records keeper, 1 mechanic.
So there was a second on that from Carol.
I'll do
Carol
second,
has this.
yeah. So it's been amended to 3 police.
now we need to vote.
Yeah, so the motion on the floor would approve the exceptions to the hiring freeze of the 3 patrol officers, the records clerk, and the
And the mechanic.
mechanic for the highway department. Any further questions, discussion? Roll call vote.
Jerome Ziggs, yes.
Kathleen Spofford, yes.
Mary Jane Churchville, yes.
Sam Grant, yes.
David Walker, yes.
Carol Hofstas, yes.
Hayes, yes. Unanimous, passes unanimous. So our recommendation to the select board.
Yeah. I value to make a motion to accept the recommendation for a hiring freeze from the finance committee and the town administrator, with the town administrator to bring forward sorry, I want to say it, basically like a gatekeeper for anything future, to review any future requests to bring forward as necessary.
Veronica Kell, second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
Tyler Peter, Jai.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you
Thanks,
very
James.
much.
like I said, I will share this with the departments via an email where I remind them to submit their budget reports and also this sort of current policy. And I, as any requests come up, I will share them with the select board as well as, through Don, so he can disperse to your team. And I'm happy to join you for a meeting in the event Chief Sartell wins Powerball and we have to find
You keep saying that, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gonna happen.
Okay, you have to tell Chief Sartell he's not allowed to buy a Powerball.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put
yeah,
it right in his contract.
No Powerball.
I
He
say
wants
let
to
him
know
get
where
the
you
power.
got that, because he doesn't buy the tickets anyway.
Probably me.
Really?
I love Powerball.
It's better to say if
I
something
love
good
it,
happens to someone than,
Yeah.
what about they get hit by a bus?
It's 0-0 on the roulette table and off
It's
you
better
goes.
than that, yeah.
Right? Yeah, but if you won that one ticket,
I don't have anything else for joint for FinCom, but I appreciate you guys coming up. Please let me know if there's any questions.
Yeah. I was gonna say, not on the agenda for today, but so you will be invited, to our next meeting when we schedule it, because we have to go over the warrant articles and his questions.
Okay.
Are we not meeting with department heads this year?
We don't necessarily have a budget yet, so it's kind of like, so it's
We'll
hard
have
to
the
say.
budget summit in March too. First Saturday, right?
When did they
Yeah,
do?
but when are we getting the budget?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
26.
I just asked them all to redo it. So with your motion that you guys shared with me last week.
And when
so-
you get it, you'll forward them to us?
Right.
Yeah, so we've gotten a couple departments already that I've shared with Sabrina and she'll disperse them to Don. So like building has shared theirs, treasurer collector has shared theirs. I think libraries was coming,
What did you say? it was?
a
When is
few
it?
others.
March
So
what?
we'll start, getting them out to you guys so you can look at them. And, like Cemetery and Parks has a meeting next week, so that's where they approve their budget and then they'll get it to us shortly thereafter. So
One second.
it's challenging for the department heads because, some of them have agreement obligations and some of them have energy costs going to the moon and they're just,
I was gonna say, and others have contracts already in place that have built-in raises or increases in them.
or,
To be done.
just contracts for grass cutting, for example, or something to that effect, obligations that the department has already. So software obligations, but I'll keep you guys attuned.
March 7th is the budget summit.
Oh, another month.
March 7th.
Yeah, we got some time. So.
I can't
Thank
make
you.
that.
March 7th?
Nope.
You're gonna be in Hawaii or something.
Can't make that.
I'll find a reason.
Probably some foreign country. So,
You don't want to do
Yeah,
7
no, I'm
hours
out of
again?
town.
No way.
no, that's when the budgets are due.
I know that,
No,
I'm just
that's
saying, I
the
cannot
budget
make March
I'll
7th.
just
Right.
That's all.
You can't make the budget.
But do we have a
summit.
meeting then?
Well, that's just what you just said,
It's
that's
the
not a budget.
7th.
Oh, that's the summit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm,
Oh.
That's where I'll
North Andover.
enroll in the department heads and pass it.
I can't wait. I just can't wait.
The week before,
So it's
so we're not gonna have time to meet with them.
Bring a lot of candy, a lot of
Yeah,
Gatorade,
that just doesn't make
Diet
sense
Coke,
yet.
some coffee,
I
some
know it
munchkins.
Yeah.
Well, I will, again, thank you for your group coming out tonight.
Is there a question?
Do we have to adjourn?
Yeah, if we're getting the
We
budgets,
haven't, we're
One second,
coming back
one
next
second, Kat.
Tuesday here, right?
I feel you have a question.
About that yet.
if
We're
we're
gonna make a
getting,
meeting.
not gonna have the budgets till February 26th, and the summit is March 7th, that's not a lot of time in between to review everything, or to meet with department heads or anything.
Last year we met with the department heads way early.
We did, and the budget summit was just going over the omnibus at that point, because I don't think we had any department heads come in on the budget summit. So.
I think-
maybe-
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no.
Gary
We
did.
did. Gary Shepherd came because he kept not coming to our meeting.
I think he came in, wasn't there somebody
Yeah,
There
else?
was a couple I heard,
I
because I was
think it was,
watching.
I think there was another one that came in too.
I mean, but so, and Karen can correct me if I'm
Melissa
wrong.
came in.
There's nothing that prevents you
Ms.
after
Wilson.
that from meeting with them, because your recommendation to us on yay or nay on certain things doesn't happen until closer to the town meeting,
Right, and,
right? So you could,
No.
you could after that meeting,
right,
call in if you have
put our
specific
recommendation
questions.
Together for.
So we're meeting
Yeah,
next
we have-
Tuesday?
This is a different town.
Yeah,
this year.
let's plan on next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday to go over the warrant articles?
To go over the warrant article.
Will we have them?
Yeah.
Yeah, warrant has
It's
been posted as of, earlier this afternoon.
It was,
Oh,
we're 2 weeks out.
Yeah, town
Oh, you
clerk's
can't
office
make
has it.
it.
So we can't-
Yes, I can.
Kathy hits the road.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
At 6:55.
Germs exist.
Kathy Spofford, yes.
Mary Jane
1854.
Churchill, yes.
Sam?
What?
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
just say yes.
I'll say yes to
Yeah.
anything right now. Walk in, go home
Carol
and
Hoff
have dinner.
says yes.
Yes, unanimous, please stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Go clear up your tires.
TCAM, we'll take a 2-minute pause here. Veronica as well, 2-minute pause, and Real Deal, 2-minute pause. So, and Kaylee, 2-minute pause. I gotta eat some Skittles.
I have no.
What melting?
No milk, what milk? I have no milk.
The only melting I've had was the.
One.
I would have brought in another. Trying to clean out the back, by the end of the week, we got another 2 quarters. Where?
Gonna get your firewood.
Oh, I'm.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You're like one of
A lot
I said,
of-
I have had at least 4 or 5 days of snow going so far. And I'm waiting for this non-snow to get by before I do the last 3 inches.
One's gonna go for
Do we have a,
1
yeah, 2 quarters of fireworks coming in
Yeah.
towards the end of the
At
week.
least they.
And I wanna make sure they can dump it, and that the barrier can get in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was,
I'll
it was
have one
very,
now.
it was
Three
very,
of us had to stay warm.
no, I think it was very good that you did that. I remember.
It does it for me.
Yeah, put in for all 3.
Oh, yeah, somebody did.
So,
And,
yeah,
and I didn't really care, cause it's the,
and you know what? That shouldn't have been allowed. It should have never gone through.
Yeah, Jerry, are you leaving or are you like staying?
No, I'm leaving.
And you're
Thank you.
saying-
oh, what am I taking your,
Oh, we're not done. We're not done.
how many take?
No, I was gonna say,
We have
your
executive
agenda was,
with
if I clear up your tires, it'll be covered back over by the time. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it started?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just, when I came in, it had just started at, and.
it did say about 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
It did say that in the weather thing.
it was,
Was it a lot?
it was pretty heavy. The hot dog was okay, but a couple of places.
All right. Well, at least we got here.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
I did.
Hopefully,
find
we can get through the meeting.
Yeah, no, I noticed you did quite a bit on
I am those, but you know what I
on the
found?
agenda.
Some of these, like the years.
Well, thank you.
Some of those were actually on the,
Thanks.
because,
Well,
oh, yeah,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see.
Really, I really appreciate that you're still hanging in there. I really,
Yeah.
I keep dropping it.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I mean, some of them was.
it's Crushing Valley Technical High School.
Okay, ladies, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh, Jerry Lynn,
Yes,
are we doing anything? Are you gonna have a report for Thursday? HTC?
I have just the 2 that I was reporting on, but, Melissa was supposed to do Dunstable and Groton, and she's away, isn't she?
Maria?
Maria, I call her Melissa.
my. Yeah. Please take my boots off.
Hi, everybody. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. I'm just eating some more Skittles. Callie, your mic is not muted, just in case you're wondering.
Oh, you hear me walk? No.
All right, folks, we're back on. The joy of having a nice little meeting. Oh, joy. Feeling pretty chipper. Veronica, can you hear us now? All right, I see you're coming back online too.
I'm here. I've got to get my earbuds in here.
To resume at 7:08 p.m. Roll call, please.
Veronica Kell, present remotely.
Valerie Goodrich, present.
And Laura Schifrin, present. Okay, we are back. And next is 5.4.
Correct.
If I have my order correct. And that is the discuss and vote to accept the lease agreement for the Old Harbor and Old Central Fire Stations. Veronica, do you want to speak to these?
We have I put the lease in the SharePoint yesterday. That was the most recent. That was that Karen, I think you sent to the Fire EMS for their review. And so I think at this point, we have no response from them. I think this has been reviewed by town council, and we did make changes that were requested by let's see. So anyway, at this point, I think we should just vote to accept and pass it on to them for signing. I don't know what else to do.
So if I may jump in, I would wait for their request for changes to see
Okay.
if we're comfortable with them. And I know our town council would really, he was pretty sharp. His name was Joe Rotullo. I think he's anticipating feedback from his changes to review. That was the conversation. I spent about an hour on the phone with him. He's like, they may not agree with all this, but he goes, this is where, I'm coming from as your town council. He's like, so expect pushback, share it with your board members and then decide, if you're agreeable to that pushback.
All right, 224. Move to 224. under old business, okay?
Yeah, it is up to, yes, the EMS lessee folks
Yeah, I'd wanna
to get
hear
back. Just, it makes me put my realtor hat on, if you're trying to come to a lease agreement and the tenant doesn't say anything. All right, well, then, I guess you either roll forward or you wait.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think we may wait until we hear different. I can also call, Mr. Stevens and perhaps the fire chief, because I know he knows those folks as well, if you want, just to keep it moving, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can reach out a hand and see what they say. That we're waiting on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them know that we're waiting on them. And now it's going to February 24th meeting. Okay, that brings us to 5.6.
5.6 was one that Veronica had been working on for special municipal employees, specifically a letter of clarification for the board of fire engineers. Veronica.
I'm gonna excuse myself and come get me when you're done.
Noted.
All right, so everybody saw what was in the SharePoint, I assume. So this is, I'm going to read this into the record. Should I or should I not?
Sure.
This is from the Select Board, Town of Townsend, to whom it may concern, subject special municipal employees, date February 10th, 2026. At the January 20th, 2026 Select Board meeting, in response to the question of what positions have special municipal employee status in the town of Townsend, the town clerk's office provided to the Select Board a listing of the special municipal employees maintained by the clerk's office and reviewed on February 20th, 2025. Each town position and the date special municipal employee status was conferred is included. See attachment A for the list. So attachment A is just the list. Now, in doing this, I guess I should continue reading and then comment. Note that an examination of minutes of Board of Selectmen / Select Board meetings shows that the following positions not on the list were given special municipal employee status at Select Board meetings. These designations are under review by the town clerk's office, and those include 1, payroll clerk. It was the Select Board minutes of 6/25/2014, which is actually Board of Selectmen instead of Select Board, but I think we have to pick one at this point. Number 2, Cemetery and Parks Commissioners. That was the Select Board minutes of 2/2/2016. The town moderator was also ratified as a special municipal employee at the 2/2/2016 Select Board meeting. And from the list in Appendix A, it was already declared as such on 9/16/1963. So these are the additional positions that were found when reviewing the minutes. The position of fire chief was designated as a special municipal employee by the Board of Selectmen on September 16, 1963, with the designation of the Board of Fire Engineers as special municipal employees, since the fire chief is a named member of this board. For documentation, see Appendix Attachment B and Attachment C. And Attachment B is the title page, contents, preface, copyright date of Firehouse History, which includes the first chapter, which is around 44 pages or so, of a description of the history of the fire department. And in Attachment C, page 36 from that book is included, which names the fire chief as a member of the Board of Fire Engineers. And so that is what we have there.
Okay.
This is great. Library of Congress. With the catalog.
History, right? History is
great.
Yeah, history is cool. So
it's the book that was used for
differently than the history actually was.
Anyway, that's all I have there.
Okay, so just for me to understand, for next steps, it would be to work with Sabrina to get this on town letterhead and have signature lines, or what are you looking for me for next steps here?
I just think that it would be advantageous. Yes, I guess my answer is yes. For what you describe, and I would want to get I think that people don't know who special municipal employees are or are not. I know that when we appointed the interim fire chief and then the full-time fire chief after our former fire chief left, I was under the impression that the fire chief was a special municipal employee. So I think it's good to know who they are, and I think it just needs to be dispersed to department heads and anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I really want it on the website, to be honest. Like, I think because some of our volunteers don't know that they're special municipal employees.
True.
And it makes me think of the VBCC booklet here. Like, here's a list of who your current special town employees are. Maybe it's, part, F in the back or something like that.
And I love the firehouse history.
Yeah.
So,
and I know I have that email to the town clerk's office, so they were working on reviewing that list. I have not heard back, but I'll follow up with them.
I'm sure they're busy.
Yeah. And otherwise I will, when you're ready to, make a motion here, however you might see forward, in the event we get there, I'll work with Sabrina to get it on letterhead and go from there. So.
I'll entertain a motion, that we select board sign the letter, with its attachments outside of session. I'll entertain the motion. I wasn't making the motion.
Okay, then
You want to make your motion?
I, Veronica Cal, move to take this list of special municipal employees and add it to letterhead for disbursement to all department heads and to all volunteers via the volunteer handbook.
Okay, and also to go on our website?
The list
With the attachments.
Yeah, the list I want on the website. So, with the dates.
Can we have the attachments?
I might,
well?
yeah, I might share that with the
Because
fire
that's
department,
sweet.
or maybe I can put it underneath the fire department. Yeah,
But
I like
even
the
for
storytelling.
even for the public to know
Yeah,
is what I mean.
maybe I can put that on my Facebook launch.
Right.
There you go.
I like that.
It's going to be in iterations of disbursement of information. So
Okay, so I'll have to second your motion. I, Laura Schifrin, second the motion.
And
any further discussion?
I just want to say that that book is available in the library. It's part of the, way back when, curriculum in Townsend was that all fourth graders did a unit on the history of Townsend. And the children's room at the library maintains a big box of, that's where that book was. It's also in the reference section at the library. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Pardon me?
It's cool.
I said thank you. It took a lot of time. I appreciate your efforts in giving us.
It was interesting. It was interesting. So anyway.
May I comment on something?
Callie, yes.
Callie, yeah.
I just want to remind everyone that the special municipal designation is by the role and not the employee.
Correct.
So just to put the role versus the name is all. Thank you.
They, I believe they are the positions that are listed.
Yeah, I don't think we ever.
We don't highlight any names in that. So.
They're positions.
Yeah.
They're all positions.
No
I don't
names.
think there are any names.
No, this is just a history lesson and clarification.
I mean, when you see on 9/16, whatever the date was, 1963, and you see the Board of Fire Engineers, it begs the question, what was the Board of Fire Engineers? What positions were part of that? And that book answers that question. So.
Yeah. And it tells you who the Board of Engineers were in 1973.
It does. So in that respect, the book has names. I think it shows you others as well. But yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So you guys have a motion, I think.
And a second.
And a
we
second.
discussed. Roll call vote.
Veronica Kell, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye.
Ms. Goodrich stepped out, so I'll just leave that at that. So,
yeah.
Great. I will work on that and
thank you.
Circulate that around to everybody's inboxes in the next few days.
History does not hurt. It's good to know history.
Yeah. I'll grab our other board member and we'll be at 5.7. We're trucking right along. We have 25 minutes till we have an appointment.
Okay. So. I think we're going to make it.
That would be nice.
Thank you, Veronica.
You're welcome. I need to find the...
Excellent. We are on 5.7, review and discuss town council policy. I had not spent a lot of time on this, so I don't have much information for myself to share with you guys other than what was put in SharePoint by
Have you read this? This was going to be we had town council policy before, but was this an update policy?
I believe it was that.
This is July of 25.
Yeah, we voted and approved it. I believe that council.
We revised it.
Council just finally got around to.
Oh, got it.
Accommodating our revisions.
Wasn't there just one comment?
Yeah, there were many comments, all of which I found, if I can talk about this, all of which I found good. The one that I thought we had to discuss, and I'm trying to pull this up, there's one of them that, is this under work session?
It's
5. It's 5. Old business.
Old business.
Okay, hold on. It's just a little slow loading this stuff in. I couldn't print this one, and I was having trouble getting Adam's comments on this when I did it. But it was the one, he made a comment of...
Which part was it about?
Number 4, under the sole exception to the foregoing requirement of advance authorization. It's number 4, which reads, members of the select board shall notify the town administrator of each contact for budget purposes. However, they are not required to explain content. And he says, to my knowledge, this requirement has not been routinely followed, but more board members would know better than I do. So I guess my question is, do we leave that in there or not? Everything else I would probably accept that he said. He made legitimate points, especially in with respect to the request for legal services form. So there are updates that need to be made, but that was the only one that I wanted to discuss. What do we want there?
So I think this actually would be a good process for us to all take, especially if there's ever a place where there's more members of the board.
I would agree.
To like, if I was like, hey, Karen, I really need 30 minutes of Adam's time. I can't tell you why, but you just know you're the tally of.
Yeah, so.
I agree. I don't do much myself, but.
I think the tally is important. I think it's also, with a TA that's more seasoned, you may find that they could potentially answer some of these questions. So like when you're able to give context, Veronica may say, oh, like, what about this word change in a policy? And, Eric, who was your TA before, might have been like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's see if it encompasses here.
It also encourages the select board just to, like, if it's a topic that they feel comfortable talking to the TA or even, the administrative assistant about, you have access to all council's previous iterations. So I know sometimes something will come to us, like Jane, like last week was like, I talked about this last year. Here you go. Mm-hmm. So just having that person to say, I think this has been discussed recently. Does this answer your question?
The only time I see it not being a good thing, as we all did last year, separately, but we all did it, whether we knew it or not, was advice about the TA.
Gatekeeping for situations.
But I think that in that circumstance, it was, you know, you could.
Everyone wanted an opinion.
How would you handle it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a great way to handle that, and I think as the executive, you probably have to allow people to ask in those circumstances, because it's the most important job we have, right?
I thought so. Frustrating, but, yeah, we should keep that.
While we're on the
Oh,
topic.
no, they do,
I'm good with keeping it. I just thought it needed to be discussed. I didn't think that was one that he,
I noted that too, Veronica, so.
I don't think any
Okay.
select board member should have a problem with it when there's 5. I don't think that should be an issue, so that probably.
Especially
there's a
in
policy,
circumstances.
so then if they didn't like it, they would have to come back publicly.
Revisit it and explain why.
Right.
And I could see circumstances where, you know, there might be the same question of 3 board members, and the TA, when the second person says, you could be like, whoa, 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 should we put this on an agenda, or even in an executive session?
well, you don't have to tell content.
No, you don't have to.
So you won't know that so the TA wouldn't even know that all 5 or 3 or however many there are asking the same question.
Oh,
Yeah,
The person that would know is town council and may call the TA and say, hey, I think you need to have a talk with your board members.
I mean, this is where it says they're not required to explain content.
No.
I imagine, though, a significant amount of time, there would be a heads up.
Yeah. Oh, we're trying to get rid of Kieran, you know, he doesn't wash his clothes. He's got to go. How do I explain that to him? You know, something to that effect.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll leave that in there. And then, so what I think we should do is accept the changes and then read the policy clean. And this is a second reading, correct?
We already did a second reading.
All right, so
and we don't.
I do think we need to look at it one more time once all the changes are accepted to see what it actually looks like.
First reading,
but we don't have to do readings.
We don't have to do readings. I know
No.
that, but this would be considered. Our discussion now is the second time.
Second visit.
So we're going to ask for a clean one for 224 and read it before the meeting.
Yep.
And then be ready to have a motion.
Yep.
On 224.
I just have one question. Valerie, was there anything else in Adam's changes that you thought we should talk about?
The one other one was, let me get rid of my note.
That was the only one that I had. All the rest of his changes seemed right to me.
Some of them seemed a little repetitive, but it's fine. The 1, 2, 3, 4, it seems like they overlap, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Okay. All right.
That is great work on old business.
So the only other, and I guess this is,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, the last little thing I had about this was like, on the request policy, we are recommending virtual if a select board requests presence at the meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we agreed.
They're like, hey, we'd like to have council here. And I was like, no, on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I may say that this.
You didn't say that to them.
No, I didn't say anything. I was watching it after the fact.
Yeah.
Adam did say, he goes, with this whole new policy about, taking a sign-up sheet and such, he goes, it has reduced some of the costs.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, would we ever do like a quarterly office hours with him? Might be something for us to think about as we get into spring and annual town meeting stuff. Like, is it worth having Adam come here for a couple hours in an afternoon once a quarter to have some of our planning board, our town clerk, select board go to him and catch up on things rather than emailing and having me gatekeep. And then, because he's like, you guys have done okay.
Why don't I see how this goes? Because
Check
he was
PDA.
booked every single time he was here.
Yeah.
So I'm reluctant to do that until we're in I always think it's more productive when we're in executive session with him because we're all hearing the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's more efficient.
I just want to talk as a committee member on another committee. For the select board, that might be the case, but if you're on another committee, I know that for Housing Trust, in that time period where I wasn't on the select board, when I really appreciated the office hours. I didn't call Adam or ask to call Adam or anything else. Mostly we went to, sometimes there would be two of us who would go when were trying to navigate the Mass Housing Partnership process and all of that. He was very helpful, and it was office hours that we used. And it was nice for two of us to be able to go at the same time. I'll just say that. So not necessarily from a select board perspective, but from a volunteer board perspective, it was nice.
So,
and in particular, in the time when we did not have an admin at all,
right.
It was really useful. So that's where I see office hours as being really helpful.
But what about the request for presence for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever is required if there was a public hearing, let's say for planning board, but virtual?
Zoom, I would definitely do it virtually. Yeah,
sure.
Because you get 2 hours of travel.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely.
We can afford the half hour on Zoom.
But I wouldn't. I would agree that if a board needs help in a determination, or I've seen him at zoning, but that particular one was kind of a waste. Where he came, and I think his impact could have been the same virtually. Okay, so just to keep that in mind, I wouldn't want to deny that kind of thing, especially when it's going to affect the community, residents, who have an issue one way or the other. Okay, so we good on that? I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah.
And maybe even just, as the TA, a reminder when that's authorized by the board, when it's requested by the board and authorized by the TA, be like, try and keep everything together for that section, and when that person's not needed, like
finish up.
Yeah, they don't, because they're going to stay there until you tell them you're done.
Yeah, true. Okay, 6.1, and we have time for your administrative report.
Yeah, we've got 12 minutes, so we're going to visit with Jane. Interim town administrator report. Exciting things. Facebook, I have 2 photos that a local photographer has allowed us to use, and I will put on the Facebook site tomorrow or Friday. And I'll
Is it live?
That'll be my official unveiling, and then I'm going to try to link
You'll
up
let
with.
us know right away.
You'll let you guys know, and then also link quickly with Townsend Fire, Townsend Police,
right,
and Townsend Library Senior Center if they have a page.
Everybody
do. Yeah. And then
does but us.
Right. And I did let the town clerk know that I know the TA a few TAs ago that they had a page and then it was sort of turned over to the town clerk. I said, hey, I'm not going to take that page.
Created it.
Yeah. Okay.
I created
it. I said, I'm going to start anew, just a clean slate and go from there. So he said, thank you. Just so he was caught in the loop there.
Okay.
Department head meeting. I know I've spoken about this a few times. I shared with them the slides we touched on earlier. Budget presentation, outlining sort of my tactics in honor of the staff and really kind of defending their roles here. I'm going to meet with our the town-owned property committee. I think that's their name. Town properties to visit on 3 or 4 parcels that we think could be potentially things we could sell, disperse, dispense, because we do need to have some other fund sources here. Highlighted the taxpayer impact of a $500,000 override. Again, that's just a number for exercise purposes for those that are still listening at home. Overall, the employees were concerned, very concerned about their own personal budgets, though appreciative of the information and feeling like they're a part of the process. Some people came up to me afterwards and in emails since then saying, hey, this is tricky. Let me know what I can do to help, which I think means a lot to sort of the work you guys are doing and sort of our efforts to have everyone be a part of this process now, good, bad, or indifferent. And we've talked about FinCom, police facilities, recreation, cemetery parks, and Board of Health specifically asked questions in regards to wage obligations. But hopefully we're able to start that discussion in the next few days with some good marching orders from town council. We do have a number of budgets for the level spending submitted. I will send it a little nudge again tomorrow to say, please get those in. They do have some time. Absent from the meeting was Highway Department. They had a prior obligation they let me know about. Fire Department, they weren't able to send a representative. I hadn't heard back from them. I may follow up with the chief just to say, hey, next time let's just have somebody here, just because we're all in the same boat here. We need to sort of figure this out together. Veterans Office, same thing. Town Clerk's Office was in training. Town Accountant's remote. Water Department was not present either, so I'll also follow up with them. Even if it's just somebody who can just sit and say they were attending, it's a good show of force for everyone who's in this together. You don't want other staff feeling as though they're underappreciated because they're here and someone else is, isn't. So yeah, it's just want to make sure we're all on the same playing field. Smaller departments were not present, but historically, Betty May from Memorials and Bands isn't going to come to this meeting. She's delightful, but she's not going to come.
No, she works.
She's got an obligation, things like that.
I did catch up with her at the post office.
Yep, and she came in this afternoon, so I chatted with her. Free cash certification has been confirmed. We have $558,000. 55880. I've shared this information with Selectboard, Town Clerk, Capital Planning, and FinCom. This is all with the caveat that it is snowing right now. Our snow and ice budget is going to be the majority of the consumer here for that free cash. I'll leave that at that until the next things. The ceiling leak in my office remains, and I am going to enter an insurance claim for that. I came back on Monday to 2 buckets full of water in a really wet corner. It's cold now, so it's not leaking, but it was leaking all day long. I emptied the bucket twice in my office due to an ice dam up against that side there. Facilities came by and broke part of the icicles off, which I think every New Englander is dealing with right now.
I was at my house, did the same thing.
The concern I have is that the ceiling is beginning to brown and the woodwork is beginning to show some degradation.
Okay.
So I don't want the building to be even tougher shape. Yeah, compromised. Went to the school budget hearing last night. We were able to share some real high level questions. Town of Ashby was there as well. Pepperell Finance, budget growth, long-term sustainability, and staffing changes are really the big sort of elephants in the room there. It occurred to me that enrollment's going to slowly taper off. And because population is starting to get inverted in a lot of communities. So what does that mean for the school as a whole for really like a 20-year sustainability plan? Like what happens if you get down below a certain threshold? Do you combine all the schools into one? Probably, I will be sailing.
All in one.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. So, they do have considerations for, contract negotiations with teachers and sort of longer term budget considerations to think about. That's my quick and abbreviated interim town administrator report.
Any questions from the board? Karen, on this report? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Yeah. 6.2, reports from board liaison shown. And
You can just remove that little part of it.
Yep. Vice Chair, do you have anything to report?
I'm looking under announcements to see, it was put under announcements. That was where I had asked Sabrina
we
to
have
put
it.
it, the announcement of the MART administrator that I had talked about at the meeting. So his contact information was emailed to us. I don't know, I didn't see anybody else but me on the distribution list. Which is why I asked Sabrina to put that. It's for the MART, new MART administrator, his contact information. So there was an announcement that came out from MART and then a follow-on from Stephen Oldfield with his contact info. And I believe it's under communications.
I saw that.
Pardon me?
No, go ahead. I was asking Val if she had announcements.
For announcements or board committee?
Announcements.
Reports
Board and
from-
committee, we have. I know, we have that. Do you have anything else to announce?
No. Not this time. Or, wait a minute, I'm confused what you're asking. Are we on board and committee reports, announcements?
We are.
Okay,
We are on the board reports
yes.
as liaison. That's where we are. But I will ask you about there was a back and forth between the three of us not the three of us, the three of us on a letter that came. Yeah. I'll announce it under planning. The DLTA was approved.
Yes.
The MBTA.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the cat out of the bag.
Got 3 minutes, so.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Me? No.
Besides what you said? Okay.
Good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Oh, planning. Our MBTA mandatory bylaw was approved.
Yay.
Great work.
That was just yesterday.
That's huge.
We got the news that has passed. I really am hoping that our next bylaw change does not take as long as that one did. Okay, having said that, that's my announcement. And do you want to go over the volunteer positions that are available?
Sure.
And at the same time, we can say that the positions that are open for election are on the website. They are now on the first page of the website where it does say seats available, but they are the positions for election. So if you are interested in pulling papers, now's the time.
Papers are due March 9th, 2026, according to the town clerk's website. And the election would be April 27th as posted, as well as town meeting May 5th, 2026. That is what's on the town clerk's
That was late
website.
this year because they're due back March 6th. Okay, go for the volunteer positions available.
We have Agricultural Commission, Audit Committee, Board of Water Commissioners, Capital Planning, Commission on Disability, Community Preservation. No, Community Preservation is all
It's
set.
now full.
Yep. Conservation, Energy, Housing Authority, Representative vacancy, Housing Authority vacancy, Recycling Committee, Town Properties Committee, no, we're not doing West Town Reading Room. Zoning Board of Appeals, full member to 2030 and a full member to 2028 and an associate member. Come join zoning.
Zoning needs help, everyone.
Yeah, planning board has people that are up. I think
they have
Three people, and luckily, they all agreed to commit to one of the positions last night.
That's awesome.
So hopefully, and then the next one will just be the affiliate, which is not an elected position, but an appointed. Which somebody could fill out a volunteer form for if they are interested. You wanted to, okay, you just did the annual town election and the dates and opening and polling and returning. Okay, 6.4 next meeting is not what's on the agenda. And so I will recite February 24th, 2026 with the time to be determined. 6.5.
I make a motion to, Valerie Goodrich to make a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Is there a
Veronica-
second?
Veronica Cal second.
Okay. Roll call vote,
Veronica Cal I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
and Laura Schifrin, aye. 7.1, executive session. I, Laura Schifrin, move to go into executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and I do so declare. And this is AFSCME Local 93, Clerical Union, Supervisors Union, Highway, Water Unions. And I, Laura Schifrin, make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to the collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and I do so declare. And this is the fire union. I, Laura Schifrin, make the motion to go into executive session pursuant to open meeting law, chapter 30A, section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with the non-union personnel or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. Police chief.
Seconded.
Veronica
Valerie
Cal
Goodrich.
second.
Oh, Veronica.
Or
Sorry.
Are you okay with Veronica?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't care.
Thank
Either
you.
way,
Either
I can't
way.
see.
I am, there's no discussion. Roll call vote, please, to go into the executive sessions at 7:49 PM. And then I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
We will not return to regular
And
session.
we are not returning to regular session.
So we will adjourn from executive session.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So
We're
are we
going
looking
to-
for a vote?
Yes. to go
Veronica
into-
Cal I.
Valerie Goodrich, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all very much for your time and attention to us this evening.